Okay, so I don't attempt to be overtly sexual on the channel. You know, I try to keep it around like a TV 14 or something here or there. But Don Lee's Gilgamesh, yeah. Oh, he could get it. 1000% get it.
Tonight the music seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. Maybe it's better this way. We'd hurt each other with the things we want to say. We could have been so good together. We could have lived this dance forever. But now who's gonna dance with me? Please stay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm here to give my quick review for Marvel Studios' Eternals. This is directed by Chloe Zhao, and it stars the likes of Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Brian Tyrese Henry, Selma Hayek, and Kit Harington. I know I'm forgetting a few people. I do apologize. It's a big cast, but the story of the Eternals does span the earliest moments of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are a group of immortal beings created by the Celestials, who are these godlike beings who we really haven't seen much of in the MCU, besides the severed head of Nowhere, and as well as Ego the Living Planet was also a Celestial as well. The Eternals were sent to planet Earth to protect and help develop humanity in their infancy, and also protect them from the wrath of the Deviants, these monstrous creatures that roamed the Earth and were designed to cause chaos and destruction, basically. And the Eternals, in their mission to protect humanity, learn to love humanity, and have been living among us for so long, and have just been our secret protectors throughout the course of human history. They're not meant to interfere in human history, but mainly protect them from the deviants, which definitely causes some strife within the Eternals as a whole. Like I said, the movie is directed by Oscar winner Chloe Zhao, and it's a beautiful movie to look at. I say that a lot about large, big budget movies like this, but this one for some reason has a very different feel than most of your typical MCU movies. The way that it's structured, the way that it tells the story of these long-lived individuals, and how humanity and their time amongst us have shaped them and changed them in ways that were never expected by their creators. There's a total of 10 Eternals in the movie. I'm going to try to name them all just so people are aware of it. There's Icarus, who is played by Richard Madden. He has flight, and he shoots cosmic energy out of his eyes. Cersei, who is the quote-unquote main lead of the movie. The story does really focus around Cersei and her evolution into the person that she is by the end of the movie. She is basically our focal point for the movie. She has matter manipulation. There's also characters like Sprite, who can do illusions, and also has the outward appearance of a child, even though she is thousands of years old. We have Phastos, who's portrayed by Brian Tyree Henry. He is also the first openly gay superhero in the MCU, basically. We do have Loki, who is more so gender fluid, and who is kind of more pansexual or demisexual, but in the movie, Phastos is portrayed as homosexual, and he has a husband and a child, and it's a really great portrayal of the character. And I enjoy how the character's sexuality isn't necessarily at the forefront of the movie. It is just who he is, and the focus is more on the character and his intelligence, because he is the creator or the engineer of the Eternals, and he has helped craft and develop humanity in their technological development throughout the centuries. And you see a lot of the toll throughout the movie with their interaction with humanity, which I'll get to in just a moment. We have Droog, who has like mental control, mind control, manipulation. Makari, who is a speedster. She is the fastest person in the universe. Incredible super speed. And also she is deaf and uses sign language in the movie, which, again, very similar to how they handle Phastos and his sexuality. I feel like how her being deaf and using sign language was never a plot device. It was never something that needed to be it was just natural, and the other characters interacting with her, and her interaction with other people, it was just beautiful. And the actress herself is deaf, and she seems so wonderful, and it was just a joy to watch her on screen. Angelina Jolie, who plays Thena, who's a warrior, she can craft weapons. Gilgamesh, played by Don Lee, is, he's sick. Let me try that again. He is super strong. He has very sense of invulnerability. He has super strength, that sort of thing. Kingo, who's portrayed by Kumail Nanjiani, he has energy blasts that he can fire out as well. And Ajax, who is portrayed by Selma Hayek, she is the spiritual leader of the Eternals, and she's also has the ability to heal Eternals and humans. And she's primarily the only Eternal who can communicate with the Celestial, their creator, Arisham. I'm butchering the name, but he is the judge. He's the big red Eternal you've probably seen in the trailer. And their mission is to protect humanity. That's basically the premise of the movie. There's also an event that is happening known as the Emergence, and it is going to happen in a short amount of time. And this is the quote-unquote catalyst event that brings all of the Eternals back together after a number of centuries because they drifted apart. And I like how the movie basically gives us their backstory, gives us all their history throughout the entire movie. It's not just a information dump at the beginning and we spend most of the time in present day. No, the story spans a course of centuries, so we jump back and forth with their time as a team, as well as their just experiences with humanity and how it shaped these immortal beings to care about our little blue rock in our corner of the galaxy. I gotta say, like I said, visually this movie looks fantastic. It's a lot of these shots are grand and epic. The costume design I really enjoyed. The power sets are so unique and different. And I think one of the biggest strengths of this movie are the character interactions and how these characters are pretty much a family. They came here together. They spent centuries together. You develop a lot of personal connections with each other. So when you start seeing them reunite after all these centuries throughout the movie, there is some baggage there, like a family who's going to a reunion after like 10 years and had a weird falling out. It's the first time in any MCU movie, I will say, that we really got a true family element in these teams where it wasn't a thrown together family. Like the Avengers, the Guardians, even some of the sub characters, like even in the Black Widow movie, how her family was basically just kind of thrown together. The Guardians, they met in prison and basically became a family. No, these people were a family for a lot longer. You can sense the love and the heartbreak that a lot of these characters have, their interactions with each other. And that's the biggest strength of this movie, is the character interactions. And the wide array of representation in this movie cannot be understated. I said this with how important a movie like Shang-Chi is. This movie is equally important because if you look at the cast, it's not just your typical mostly Caucasian cast. There are, you have so many different cultures represented in this movie. People's orientation, people with disabilities, all presented as these strong, fully fleshed out characters with motivations and really strong beliefs in rather the Celestials that created them, or in humanity that they've grown to love. It's a melting pot of different cultures and personalities that I don't think we've really gotten a good handle on in some of the previous MCU movies. I mean, a lot of the MCU movies, when you have teams and they come together, a lot of them you don't get a ton of history unless you've had a couple movies with them. That's why Endgame was so impactful, while Infinity War was so impactful. Whereas with Eternals, which is one of the great things that Chloe Zhao was able to do, is to give us that sort of history, that sort of longevity in the course of a 2.5-hour movie. And the way it was broken up, I really enjoyed it, and I like when linear storytelling is basically broken up. The actual story is, I don't want to give away a lot of stuff, but there's an event called the Emergence that was most likely triggered due to the events of Endgame with the blip and the multiple snaps of the Infinity Gauntlet on Earth. So this is causing something to emerge that threatens to destroy the entire planet, and the Eternals have to kind of join together again after centuries in order to stop it. So without giving away too much, there's a lot of other stuff that happens in the movie. There's a mystery as well that is revealed in the movie that's actually it's impactful, but for myself it's more impactful based off the characters' reactions. The actual events or the mystery that is revealed, I kind of felt like the trailer might have spoiled it a little bit for me, just because once a certain scene happened, I was immediately distrusting of a certain character in the movie. It's not the character that you might think. I do have some favorite characters as well. Obviously, I really was happy and pleased with the portrayal of Phastos by Brian Tyree Henry. I kind of ragged on him a little bit in Godzilla vs. Kong, but I think in here he gives a wonderful performance. And it's a character who is not necessarily one of the strongest fighters, but he is greatly intelligent. And he is a character who lost his love of humanity because of some of the stuff that they did with his technology. But through his relationship with his husband and his son, he has found a love for humanity. And that's what a lot of this movie focuses on, the love these characters have for people in general, because they are immortals. They don't really have a reason to be attached to us, but their centuries with us cause that sort of love to grow. So I really like Phastos. I like Droog a lot. His motivations, the reason he does stuff, being that he's able to control people's minds, he's very powerful. And there are moments where he wants to intervene. And of course, Ajax has to step in and tell him no, because that's not a part of their mission. So that causes a lot of strife in the movie. But his reasoning is sound, and I respect it. Yes, he's kind of a dick a few times, but you would be too if you had all this power and you couldn't step in to stop it. I thought Makari was fantastic. Like I said, I love the character. I love the fact that the actress gives such a great performance. The power set is amazing as well. Yeah, I'd say Phastos and Droog are probably two of my favorites. I like Gilgamesh a lot. There's a legitimate reason why. I think he's a really sweet character in the movie. For such a big, strong guy, he has like a heart of gold, it seems like. And he really has a great relationship with Thena, played by Angelina Jolie in the movie as well. This movie definitely isn't as heavily action-based as most MCU movies. It's very much a character piece, too. So if you're not into in-depth character relationships and things like that, that is the bulk of this movie. The action sequences are spread out a lot, but there's a lot of character set up in between. If you're more of the heavy action-based ones, this might be kind of a bore for you. There's a lot to like about this movie. I think, like I said, the set design is great, the costume design is great. I think the creature design of the deviants is fantastic. The mystery, albeit that I kind of had a feeling what was happening at the beginning very early on, it's still a really heartbreaking reveal, and it sets up a different type of antagonist or villains. Of course, the villains are the deviants, but the movie does a great job of subverting your expectations and really kind of flipping the story up on its head a little bit. The third act is also fine. It definitely it's it doesn't break the mold in third acts a little bit, but it is. It's pretty big of a spectacle. It really is. It lets a lot of the Eternals show off their power sets with each other and how well of a unit and a team they are. It's really interesting. It puts those global end of the world stakes up very high, and it wraps up pretty well. But again, the action isn't necessarily the biggest driving point as to why I really enjoy this movie. Is very much the heart, is very much the character interactions, it's very much the character motivations, as well as just how they do such a good job explaining the history of these characters, and really makes you want to see more of them. And hopefully with a subsequent sequel, which I'll talk about in just a second, we will see more of them, or at least of a couple of them. So we'll see what happens with that. It does have some great action sequences in it. I thought the way they handle Icarus's abilities and his flight is great. How they handle Makari's super speed is fantastic. I really liked Kingo's energy abilities, and Camille Nanjiani is very much kind of a comic relief a little bit, not much. His assistant, who is more so the comedy relief, and very much a snippet of why they fell in love with humanity. Like, he seems like such a good guy in the movie. I can see why they're willing to go against the programming, so to speak. And I'm trying not to spoil anything from the movie, but overall, I think the movie is great. There are 2 post-credit scenes, which I had to really use the bathroom, so I had to wait for the one and then run to the bathroom and then run back for the second post-credit scene. The 2 post-credit scenes, I'm not going to spoil them here. One of them, it does tee up a sequel very well with a very surprise character reveal, which I wasn't expecting, but the second they were giving the introduction of the character, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the other one is a setup for a new character who was in the movie, but it really sets up that person down their comic book path, basically. If you want me to do like a spoiler type video, I can do one. Just let me know in the comments down below. But overall, I think The Eternals was fantastic. I highly recommend seeing it. If you're interested in the movie, go check it out for yourself. Honestly, I'm glad I went to the theater to see this. It was great. I wish I didn't have to go to the bathroom for like the last hour of the movie, but overall it was fun. It was a great character piece. I really liked all the characters, and for an ensemble cast, it's not easy giving 10 characters time to shine. You know, no one felt like they were wasted. Everyone had great motivations. Everyone had different motivations that made the third act seem somewat interesting because it wasn't what you were expecting. And that's the other thing. Subvert your expectations when you go see the movie. It's not going to be your typical movie, but it is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's not as quippy either, so just keep that in mind if quips are your thing, which again is a refreshing change considering the fact we've had so many years of it. It's very exciting to see such a diverse cast, and I'm really highly recommend supporting this movie. It is great. It is a great movie. That is my review of Eternals. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. I've got a ton of videos on the channel. You're more than welcome to check out now. I just did some trailer reactions. One was for Morbius and one was for the Book of Boba Fett. So do give those a watch. And, I got a couple other things on the channel. You can follow me on all the different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.